We're now at the final video of this bite-sized comms course on planning your communication strategy for the year. I hope that you've gained a lot of value so far. You've seen the benefit of looking back and reviewing. You've seen how you should be reporting and putting together your report of what you did this year, how you should go about gathering insights that will be useful for your communication strategy, how to develop the strategy in itself. And in this final video, I'm going to be talking to you about tips and hacks for successful implementation of your communication strategy. The first thing that I would say is create room for the unexpected. I love plans. I can create plans for days, but what I've realized about plans is that anything can happen. So if we go back to 2019, nobody could have factored in the pandemic. Nobody could have factored in months of being on lockdown. Same thing with the Russia-Ukraine war. So there are things that will happen that will distort your communication strategy that you cannot even foresee. There are things that you can anticipate, but there are things, and it's almost like we've been through a season where things are just happening and be like, how is this even possible? So really prepare for the unexpected. And I think that the mindset to have is just to be agile, so that when things happen, you're able to adapt very quickly. What you don't want is a situation where something happens and it takes you such a long time to adapt because you are blindsided by it. So make sure that you are agile, make sure that you're able to quickly adapt and tweak in response to something unexpected that happens. And if you plan events, I always say that I don't really like doing events, but events, things just happen and you're like, oh my God, we did not foresee this. But you're able to quickly adapt because the show must go on, as they say. So prepare and create room for the unexpected. Know that certain things may happen, certain assumptions, because all of the insights and the trends that we were talking about, a number of it is based on certain assumptions, and these assumptions, depending on what really happens, it may change. So you must be flexible enough. Don't be rigid about your comm strategy. Leave room for flexibility and just be agile and just be prepared. And what that also means is that you need to have your ears to the ground. You're paying attention to the news. You're paying attention to what's happening in your environment. You're doing social listening. So nobody's waking you up at 3 a.m. and saying, don't you know something happened yesterday? And you're like, oh my God, I completely missed it. Your organization, you have Google alerts for your organization's name. You're tracking. You're just involved in the business of your organization. You see news on CNN and you feel, oh my God, what is the possible impact or likely impact that this may have on our organization? And you're thinking, remember, the idea is that we're to be positioned as a trusted advisor, and a trusted advisor really thinks ahead. So make sure that you create room for the unexpected. So the next thing is that you need to have a hedge for your budget, just in case certain factors change. So if you remember, when we were looking at the economic trends and insights, there's cost of living crisis, inflation, and all the stuff that's happening in the global economy, which may impact on your organization. We can't really say how things will go next year. These are just forecasts. So you really need to be prepared. The goal is that your organization will be as profitable as it was this year, or even more profitable, but you cannot guarantee that. Now, if something happens and your organization needs to implement cost-cutting measures, we know that usually comms and PR is usually the first to, get the scissors on the budget. So have that hedge in your budget to say, what are the things that are absolutely critical? What are the things? And in doing that prioritization, you want to look at, what does my organization want to achieve? So when you're creating your communication strategy, it is critically important for you to be asking your senior leaders, what is essential? What are our top two, not even top three, top two priorities for 2024? And even as you go into next year in January, if you have a retreat, usually retreats are in December, again, ask what is priority so that you can move things around. Your communication strategy really should be very flexible, so that as things change, you're able to change certain things in your communication strategy to make sure that you have the optimal result. So with regards to your budget, create a hedge, create priority in terms of what activities are we going to prioritize. Do we want to prioritize activities that would lead to sales or increase in brand reputation? Because again, all of these things will be affected depending on what budget you have to work with. The next thing is develop a best case and a worst case scenario, and that's also linked to your budget. So if I have all the money in the world, what will be the best case? What will be my ideal for me to have $100,000 budget to work with? Now, if I don't have that, if that's slashed into half, if I then I'm given $25,000, what can I do? And so this allows you to begin to think creatively. If certain factors change, if for example maybe you're 4 in your comms team and 2 people leave and you're not able to hire someone, how will that impact on your delivery? Think ahead, right? Because remember, it's thinking about the unexpected and thinking about how you're going to adapt to those unexpected things. So have a best case scenario where everything goes as planned. What are you going to deliver every month? What are the results that you want to see? And then have a worst case scenario for like things are just haywire, things are not going as planned, but despite the challenges and the constraints, these are the results we still want to be able to deliver. That also helps you. I think that one of the things that does for you is to really stretch your creativity, and it helps you to be prepared when the unexpected happens. The next tip that I will share with you is that you need to stay connected to your target audience. Is very, very important because of the economic situation globally, and this is not even just in one country. People are making tough decisions about their income. Disposable income is reducing. People are becoming more conscious. There's a lot going on with your target audience, and you need to stay connected to make sure that your organization remains top of mind, to make sure that you're meeting their needs, to make sure that they see the benefits that your service, the goods that you offer, whatever it is that your organization does, they see the value. If you work in a development organization, making sure that your supporters and your funders, they see value in partnering, in donating, in giving funds, in volunteering. You need to stay connected, and you need to also ensure that you have a solid feedback loop. If there's an organization that is just dumping information and not getting feedback, in this 2023, I'm like, how are you doing that? Please make sure that you stay connected. You're getting insights from them. You're getting feedback from them. You're just feeling the pulse, because that's going to be important. And again, talking about the unexpected, when things change with your target audience, you know that you will need to change certain things about your communication strategy and the tactics that you want to use. If you don't stay in touch with them, if you don't get feedback, you won't know what to tweak, you won't know what to change. At the end of the day, you need to be able to communicate value to your target audience in the way that makes sense to them. So what you think is valuable may not be valuable to your target audience. Their definition of value may also change over time, right? Because a lot of things are changing. So stay connected and make sure you're constantly getting and implementing feedback as best as you can. I think this next point really summarizes all that I've said so far. Monitor, evaluate, and tweak as required. You need to pay attention to monitoring. Please get your baseline figures. Where are we now? What are the numbers? If you need to speak to sales, if you need to speak to people in tech, if you need to speak to the people in the production side, just get the numbers, because that's where you're able to demonstrate value and results. As you monitor, as you track, you're going to be evaluating. Is this working? We wanted to achieve something in 6 months. Month 1, we're here. Month 2, month 3, we're not halfway to our target. What needs to change? That's how you can stay on your toes to make sure that you deliver and even exceed the expectations of your organization, and tweak. Again, your communication strategy is meant to be flexible, so don't be rigid about it. Even if your organization wants you to be rigid, please, you cannot afford to be rigid about it, because certain things may need to change as certain factors change to be able to deliver the results that they expect you to deliver. So monitor, evaluate, and tweak as required. And this should be a frequent thing. It's not even that we'll monitor in 6 months or half year, and then at the end of the year, every month you're supposed to be monitoring. Every month you're supposed to be looking at, okay, what needs to change? Are we on track? What do we need to do to make sure that we deliver on the expected results? The final tip that I would share with you is that please think ahead and think about what will be in the best interest of your organization. My goal through all of the content that I share is to help you to think like a strategic communicator, is to help you position yourself as a trusted advisor to your CEO, to your board of directors. And that can only happen when you are thinking about the organization, when you're thinking ahead. So avoid doing the barest minimum. Take the time. When we were going through some of the insights, it can be really technical, the numbers. Some of you are not numbers people. I had the opportunity to like maths. I actually even studied further maths at some point. So I'm not moved or fazed by numbers, but some people are. Push yourself, understand it. So right now there's something I want to learn. I just googled the name of the course and then put beginner, and I'm going to buy the books because I must be able to understand it, right? So make sure that you understand your business, make sure you understand the industry, make sure you understand the organization and what's important to the organization, and make sure that you're also thinking ahead what will be in the best interest of this organization. When you are acutely aware and have this understanding, when you now spot news or maybe you're in a conversation, you can say, this may impact on the organization. How can this affect what we're doing? And then you're thinking ahead and you're thinking strategically. And that's something that will help you as you're implementing your comm strategy. So you're making sure that when you get to the end of 2024, you're actually delivering the results that make people say, wow, comms has exceeded our expectation. I know you want that. I want that for you. And I hope that these tips and everything that you've learned from this course will help you to achieve that. Thank you for spending the time to go through this bite-sized comms course. I made it really compact because I just wanted to deliver value in the shortest possible time. And I hope that it was practical. I hope that you've been able to take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things that you can use as you're thinking about creating your communication strategy for 2024. As always, if you have questions, if there are anything that you want me to clarify, feel free to drop a comment here on YouTube, or you can also send me an email, adedoyin@thecommsavenue.com, and I'll try as much as possible to answer your questions. For those of you that may want to have a strategy session with me, because I do that with comms teams, it's usually like a full day or half day kind of thing where we'll just break down the specifics with regards to your organization, and we look at the internal and external factors, and we can really brainstorm and come up with the direction for your communication strategy. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to support you as best as I can in this journey. Thank you again for watching, and looking forward to connecting with you on another video.